Well, good evening. It's good to see all of you here this evening. Our next Friday Lenten speaker. Thank you very much, ladies, for delicious soup supper. Thank you. When I got to this parish, I heard about this priest, Father Al Scott. Well, I've been here almost 6 years, and I finally met him tonight. But he's always here, filling in when we can't be here. And it's what a blessing. And we are very grateful for your ministry here at St. Anne's and the opportunity to meet you and really give us a little Lenten talk. I know that people who go to some of the daily masses, right, have been able to meet you and hear from you over the years, and also those who've come to different Padre Pio masses, heard from you. So, and this is going to be recorded, so your fans who couldn't come tonight will be able to hear it.
Do I have to sign the paper that it's being recorded? Well, first of all, tonight it's a diary of an old priest. I'm going to share how I got to be where I am. And how God has worked in my life in wondrous and wonderful ways. This month I'll be 93. I still love what I do, and I still love being a priest. And I'll share with you some of the things that my background that brought me where I am today. First of all, I was born in Los Angeles. My father was a Superior Court judge, and he was presiding judge of the juvenile court. So I was a very good boy. I went to St. Paul's Grammar School, Loyola High School 4 years, Loyola University 1 year, and then the seminary began a new career for me. I had wonderful friends, and it was sure a different school in a different way. We had roller skates to school and bicycles. Today I feel like I'm in another world. I really do. I can't identify with the world today, but it's where I am anyway. God put me here. And then I had wonderful girlfriends. As a matter of fact, I have a girlfriend who we knew her family very, very well, and she, took her to the junior prom. And the other day I told people at church, I still had the picture of my tuxedo. I looked pretty special, I gotta say. And she was there with her beautiful white dress on, and a flower and everything. And I showed that. When I taught school, I showed it to the students, and I said, if you don't laugh, I'll show it to you. So they laughed, I took it away. But those days were very simple. Dating was simple. We, went to Dolores Drive-In there for hamburgers, not Friday though, and we had a wonderful time. Went to movies, and we had dances. It was a great time. So one day, it was in April of 1952, that my grandfather, Joseph Scott, was my grandfather, a famous lawyer. You go downtown to the music center, right across the street, in front of the courthouse, is the statue of my grandfather. Ooh, wow. And it's the only one there facing the courthouse. And he was my mentor. He tried the Charlie Chaplin paternity case and won. He was well known, great speaker, wonderful, loving person, big family, I think he had about 24 grandchildren, something like that. And I had two uncle priests. One's Father Patrick Scott and Monsignor Scott from San Pedro. And remember San Pedro, Mary Star of the Sea Church? He built the church. I was there before it was built. So I've seen history. That was the 1940s. So at any rate, really things changed in my life when my grandfather called me one day and he said, Al, could you come down to see me at the office on Saturday? He was still working. He was in his 80s. And I said, okay, I took the bus down, the streetcar that was there at the time. And he said, did you ever think of becoming a priest? I said, Grandpa, it's too hard, I couldn't do it. It wasn't false to me, I thought I couldn't do it. I was thinking of becoming a Christian brother, because one of my classmates had gone to become a brother. So at any rate, as it happened, he said, just think about it. It's a wonderful life. My grandfather studied to be a priest in England, and thank God he didn't he didn't wasn't ordained as a priest. If he did, I wouldn't be here today. But God had other plans. So I said, Grandpa, I'll think about it. This was April of 1951, 52 rather. In 52, September of 1952, I was in seminary for the next 7 years. One visit from an old man who said, I see something in you you don't see in yourself. No one else had ever asked me that question. No priest had sat down and said, you know, you might have the qualities. I was an altar boy, everything else, but I never had one dinner in the rectory. The priests, I never took me out one time for it, nothing. They were nice people, but they didn't do it then. So at any rate, I went to I was at Loyola University for the first year there, and then I went to seminary for the second year of college. Then at St. John's for 6 years. And they were very, very hard years for me. Because I'm not an intellectual. I'm not a brain. And that's not false humility, it's the truth. People in my class would look at a book and they're photographic memories. And I'm struggling, memorizing for the recitation of philosophy and all the other things. It was really hard work for 6 years. My classmate in the first year was Father John Thom. He was a wonderful, good-looking, tall man, athletic, played baseball, thought of becoming a professional baseball star. He's my roommate. And he had really qualities, absolutely tremendous. Well, jump ahead a few years, what happened, he became the secretary of the Cardinal when the secretary of the Cardinal was on vacation. And one day a woman came into the office and said, I want to see the Cardinal. And he said, we have to have an appointment. She pulled out a gun, shot him on the spot, killed him. The seminary, there's a statue of the Sorrowful Mother. And that was in his honor. John Thom, only priest about 4 or 5 years, and he was going to go to theology at Catholic University. Bingo. I also remember very special the funeral of Father John. In the front row, his mother was there, and I went to her and I said, I want to give my condolences for the death of your son. And she said something I'll never forget. That's in the early 60s, my friends. Father, it was a tragic, tragic end, but it's a glorious beginning. Who could say that except a woman filled with faith? So I never forgot that. There's some things that are indelible imprint on your mind. So at the seminary, I'm not being falsely humble when I tell you I was not the brightest star in the class. Now that's the plain truth. And there were 15 of us in my class. Give an example, at canon law, which I despise, all that legal stuff, Father probably loved it, both the priest loved it, but anyway. So what happened? We had the rector was a canon law expert, and we had a canon law class, which was boring as ever. And when he came in one day, he said, this is the worst class I ever taught. I have a grade on the curve. I had a grade on the curve, and some of you didn't even pass. Scott, and then the 2 other people he mentioned. So we had to take the test over again, but we got through it. So I had a struggle, because a lot of my classmates are really sharp people. They memorized well, they were intelligent and everything, but with God's grace, I got through. 1959, I was ordained a priest. I was in Santa Barbara for 3 years. I loved it in Santa Barbara, a Lady Guadalupe parish. Very simple people. We had the Mesa parish up there also. There's a second addition to our Lady Guadalupe church. And then I went to, the next parish was in Costa Mesa, in Orange County. At that time, it was part of the Los Angeles Archdiocese. And I had a wonderful, I loved the 5 years down there, parish priest, Legion of Mary. I loved, anyone involved in Legion of Mary? Legion of Mary both there in Costa Mesa and in Santa Barbara and elsewhere. So after that, I got a call one day and they said, we would like you to come to Santa Monica, to St. Monica's, and teach school. Well, I never asked to be a teacher. But anyway, I went there, and in 1967, I was there for 5 years and taught high school religious studies, chairman of the religion department, and it was quite an experience. Then they said, well, 5 years up, now you have to move. So they said there's a St. Bernard High School, Playa del Rey. There's a parish in Placencia or somewhere else. So at any rate, I liked school, so I went back to St. Bernard High School. 8 years I was there, taught religion, campus ministry. I loved it. Lived in St. Mark's Parish in Venice. I lived at Ocean Park at St. Clement's Parish. And then after my time there, about 8 years, they said, well, there's an opening down Long Beach at St. Anthony's. I love St. Bernard, but I can't stay forever. And so I went down to Long Beach and went to St. Anthony's Parish and lived there for about 8 years, taught in the high school, again, religious studies. And then after that, I went to, they said, well, there's an opening over at St. Joseph Girls High School in Lakewood. And so I went there for 15 years. So 35 years I taught religious studies. I loved it. And I didn't teach facts, I taught how to put it into your life. We had them do convalescent home visits. We had them, I took the field trip down to Skid Row with them. Matter of fact, my students at St. Anthony's had to go with me down to Skid Row. And we went to the mission, had dinner there, and we saw what real life was down there. Then I went to St. Joseph High School, and 13 years there, every girl I taught was required to go with me to with Mother Teresa's nuns down to Skid Row. And they went there, fixed the food, went with the sisters and their families down there. Can't do that today. It wasn't the same thing then as it is now. And I have still someone tell me, I remember the trips we took. It opened their eyes, a set of nice cars and clothes and all the beautiful faces and perfumes, and the real life was not as it is on Skid Row and the poor. I became very involved with Mother Teresa's nuns. I said Mass for Mother Teresa twice. I've got pictures of her, and she was just, she said when we were saying Mass, finished Spanish, she said, Father, when you say Mass, remember, we pour the water into the wine. Remember me, remember the sisters. I have a beautiful picture of her at home, myself and Mother Teresa. She was very short. I was 5'10" at the time. I shrunk down 5'7". I'll be luncheon pretty soon. Little person from The Wizard of Oz, but anyway. So at any rate, what happened after St. Joseph High School, I technically retired, but I still love what I'm doing, so I moved to Belmont Shores Mobile Homes, Lawyers and PCH. I love it there. I got a garden, I got a beautiful cat that loves me more than people do, and she waits at the door when I come home, sees my lap at night. I don't have to walk her. She's terrific. And I think pets are a great part of people's lives. So what I do now, I say Mass in St. Margarethe Parish. One Mass on Sunday, I say sometimes a Sunday Mass once or twice a month, and weekday Mass, one weekday Mass on Thursday, or Friday rather. Then I mainly help in St. Bernard Parish up in Bellflower. I'd say Mass there on Sunday at either 9 or 11, and then when priests go away on vacation, I say Mass every day of the weekday, like this week and last week. I was at St. Bernard ready almost every day, 8 o'clock Mass. So I love saying Mass. I love sharing with the people and inspiring them with what God gives me to help me in my journey. So anyway, I've had in the years I've live on mobile home, I work with the alcohol and drug community. I've been involved with them since about 1980. I was aboard the Man's 12-Step House in Long Beach for 25 years. I met many, many people there and got involved with their lives and tried to help them in recovery. So what I did, when I was there for many years, I've been taking guys on outings on Saturday night on the Long Beach Rescue Mission. Tomorrow night, we're bringing 4 guys to the Long Beach Rescue Mission to their families' homes. We have a lot of families who bring them to the home for dinner, and they love their stories. They tell their story, and it's the gospel. We're not bringing the rich and the famous. It's the people on the streets that have broken lives, and they tell their story, and these people say, we're very glad you came. They're affirm them as a person, wanting to build their life to something different. Tomorrow night we go to the Olympic Playhouse, and we go there, we go to Music Theater West, we go to the Long Beach Symphony, the Long Beach Pops, and they've never seen that kind of life. It motivates me to do what I do, to see them opening up their lives like a little flower opening up. And so my life is far from boring. And health-wise, thanks be to God, aside from arthritis in my feet, and I have scoliosis in the back, but I manage. I exercise 6 days a week, and some of you know, if you came to the masses when Father was away, I have a plan of life that really works. I call it the PIES program, not Polly's Pies. P-I-E-S, physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual development. It's the balance. For years I've worked on this program, and it works. I am God's gift. I'm the machinery He uses. I'm the hands, feet, and voice of the Lord. And if I don't take care of myself, I can't serve people. My classmates of the 15 ordained with me, they're all dead. 2 left the priesthood, and the only living one is in a nursing home. And I'm still going like fire. Yeah, taking care of the machinery. God says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. How many times in church have you heard homilies on taking care of yourself? It's about praying and do good for others. That's great. But if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others. You get burned out. You're too tired, you don't feel well, there's no enthusiasm, no energy, you're boring. So for me, God opened the door for me how to create that system of life which I follow very consciously. Vitamins, minerals, herbs, exercise 6 days a week, etc., etc. Good reading, spiritual director, whatever else. I want a map of my life. I don't want to exist, I want to live. And that takes me working at it. It doesn't just happen. You have to plan for your life and make it a plan that can give you vital and interesting as long as God wants you here. My bags are packed already. God says, time, I'm out of here. I don't worry about it at all. But I know He's got my back, and I want to work as long as I can. Weeks are short, but I'm ready when He wants me. Goodbye, Lord. Goodbye, world. And Lord, I'm ready to go. But I really, I'm very motivated by people that I think today what we've lost is enthusiasm and excitement for life. We're depressed. We're overwhelmed. We're bored. And I just can't get used to this culture, my friends. I'm sorry, but when I see people walk down the street like this, the phone out like that, or they're like this, I can't get used to that. I mean, that's not living. And what they're learning is not stuff that's often better for their lives. They don't communicate. They can't talk. My grandfather used to say, why don't these priests speak up in the church? You can't even hear them mumble. Well, can you hear me today? A lot of people don't have public speaking today. They don't know how to talk. Try to hear confessions sometimes. We live in a lot of, I'm this far away from them. No one's not going to hear me, don't worry. We don't know how to speak, how to project our thoughts. So my grandfather was great in that. He was my great hero. He exercised every day. He went to Mass every morning. He was a very spiritual person. He sent me meetings, books. I still have one of his books. He sent me 1939 or something. He was a live man. He loved life. He lived to the fullest. So today, if you ask my greatest challenges today, it's again to live in the world that is so different from the world I grew up in. To see people who don't contact each other, go to the market, good morning, how are you? Walk right past you. Is your hearing aid on? I mean, we live in a world of isolation. I mean myself. We've been watching our television all the time. And I can't relate to that. I love the radio. You imagine things. There was a Lux Radio Theater of the Air. Do you remember that? The great Gildersleeve and all the Inner Sanctum and Jack Benny Show and Bob Hope and all those. They were wonderful. Bishop Fulton Sheen, I loved him. Life is worth living. Today, a lot of people feel life is not worth living. They're depressed. They take drugs. They drink. They party. They do things that are wrong, pornography, etc. They're not happy. They don't know what life, they have no plan of life. They exist, they don't live. So, for my continued growth, I also, when I retired officially, I was going to Cal State Long Beach for 25 years. I audited classes. I don't need the credits. I don't need credits. I went there and listened, and I loved it. Then what happened? The pandemic. I don't do classes online. I don't know anything about all that stuff. So I got a tablet. I do the great courses. They're wonderful. You get them at half-hour lectures on all different topics. I listened to that. I said, well, I like to learn. One of the great persons I admire very much is Viktor Frankl. Heard Viktor Frankl? His purpose in life was that the purpose of life is to discover your gift. The meaning of life is to share it. He was a Holocaust survivor, a psychiatrist, and went through horrors. And he came out saying, I've got to tell people how to live. I've been through the worst, hell and back, but life is worth living. Viktor Frankl, marvelous, marvelous psychiatrist, Jewish psychiatrist. Then also, in my readings, in more recent years especially, I've chosen to read a lot of books about inspirational people. I just finished reading one called On Fire. How many heard of John O'Leary? Well, you will hear of him. A parishioner of mine said, Father, you got to see this movie. It was terrific. You'd love it. I never heard of it. Soul on Fire. John O'Leary was a boy of 9 years old in St. Louis, Missouri, a Catholic family, practicing, and he was playing with matches in the garage. There was a gasoline can there. It erupted, the whole garage blew up. He was burned almost 100% of his body. Pulled him out, went to the hospital. The doctor told his parents, your son will probably not live. He is so severely burned. Many of them third-degree burns. Well, 5 months later, he walks out of the hospital. 5 months later, he walks out of the hospital. After excruciating surgeries, pain, cold water treatment, etc. And the book is about his life. It is absolutely fantastic. If you ever read a book, I'm keeping that book on my shelf as a reminder of a great man who inspires people today even. He met his wife at St. Louis University, and he now has 4 children, a lovely wife, and the movie concludes with showing him getting married at St. University with a priest doing the marriage, not justice of the peace. And he has a app, or every Monday there's they have a thing on the phone, what they call that app or something, they have a thing. Get on the phone every Monday, he has a story of somebody who strives to persevere through very difficult times. And so he has the app, and I called back there to the office a few months ago, and they said, is John around? They said, no, he's in Indianapolis giving a talk. He travels all over. He goes to schools, jails, prisons, to inspire people. Don't give up. Keep on going. And the book is one of the best I've ever read. I like books contemporary. Old books of spirituality are great. The saints' books are great. But I like to read contemporary people who are the image of God today of courage, faith, hope, and love. So On Fire is the book. Now, the movie is called Soul on Fire. You can get it online, I think. I guarantee you won't sleep through it. And then the book is called On Fire. You'll get it at Barnes & Noble's. His family wrote a book called Overcoming Odds. And that book is a parent looking at how they survived. And the third book he wrote called In Awe, A-W-E. I just finished that yesterday. It is just wipes you away. I mean, he told the stories of people who went through horrendous things and survived. In a world today, there's so much depression, so much discouragement, people giving up. I need books like this. I also read another one, like the Holocaust survivor books. There's one I finished recently called The Choice, Embrace the Possible, written by Dr. Edith Eger, E-G-E-R. She's still living, the last I heard, in her 90s in La Jolla. She got out of the camps when the war ended. She nearly died in the camp. She has typhoid fever, a broken back, and they had to walk, and she thought she'd never survive. She did. She went through, at the top of the book shows all the different variants of psychological stress she went through, discouragement, depression. She decided to become a psychologist. She's working in La Jolla. As of a year or two, she was still working. In her 90s. Motivated. Hope. Not give up. The world sucks. The world's terrible. It stinks. There's hope. I need stories like that. Because when I preach to people on Sunday, know where they're coming from, the world they're living in, it's hard to find Jesus Christ, to find the church in a world that's forgotten about God. I had dinner the other night with a deacon friend of mine. He said, I read a book some time ago, going to give it to me. He said the Roman Empire fell, not from outside, not from the barbarians. They fell from inside. Immorality, corruption, all kinds of corruption. Today, I went to get a new television screen. My TV is about 13 years old. When I moved the place, someone gave me a TV. Well, it's time for change, I think, not date a little bit. I went to Target. Do you realize every TV there has a thing on it? You can't steal it. They got one of those little locks on it. It took them 10 minutes to get the locks off of the TV. Every machine's got it. You go to the drugstore, they lock up everything there. You can't get it. Because people steal. There's no problem, there's no morality. I want it, I take it. They walk the store, they walk and just take stuff. Where's our code of morality gone? Why do I need the Lord in my life? Why do I make a holy hour every day as part of my PIES program, the spiritual life? Every day, vacation included. 1 hour before the Blessed Sacrament. Sometime later at night, morning, whatever. But that's my connection with Jesus. If I don't do that, I've thrown the towel in. I cannot do it. My hour of prayer is 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of spiritual reading, and the rest of divine office. 2 rosaries a day, generally when I'm driving the car. And, but it's safe driving over. I've got control of the car, so no more crash. Bless him, I've got a hand on the wheel. But you have to have a spiritual life to survive in this world. And if you look at the things I talked about, physical, your health, intellect, keep your brain working, keep your activity up here, enjoy company of people, cultural events, hobbies, whatever. Emotion, deal with your feelings. Don't push them down. And finally, the hour of prayer in which you meet the Lord and say, Lord, let me be your image in the world today. So, once a month also we go to nursing homes. We meet at 2:30 and we go 2:30 to 4, 2 homes in Long Beach, and we visit the residents. We sing, we dance, we bring flowers, cookies, and we break up in groups and share with the patients one-to-one. We talk to them, and they love it. We come there, they're like this. We leave. They're talking to somebody. There's a story I told in the homily the other day. There's a lady in Sweden, and she sat in the nursing home, and she never talked to anybody. She just sat there. Nurses didn't want to work with her. She just sat there silent. One of the nurses came and she sat in a chair right next to her chair, and she just sat there, and she rocked back and forth with this lady. And after a while, she put her hand on the lady's hand, and she put her hand on the nurse's hand. And a short time later, she said a few words. And a few more words. And in a few months, she went home and she was talking. Someone took the time of day to say, how are you? How are you doing? And that's the problem today. Loneliness and isolation, as you know, is paramount. We're too busy with our phones. Too busy taking care of me and myself. It don't work. And so that's why we go to the nursing homes. I love to go. My support group is Mother Teresa's nuns. I talk with them and work with them still. The Pearl Clare nuns in Santa Barbara. They're contemplative. They work with me since 1958. I have good friends that help me. People that I bond with are living their faith. They're my support. I see the world today. I don't like what I see. I can't change the world there. But there's two worlds, the world out there and the world in here. Teresa of Avila said, the interior castle. Get to know the inside here. Long Beach City College, when I was taking a class there many years ago, the teacher said, you're the only person you know whom you will live with for the rest of your life. You better get to know that person, love that person, treasure that person, and then be able to give that love back to other people. Don't love yourself, you can't love other people. And that's the problem today. Where are young people today? On the phone, partying, pornography, and they're wonderful young people. They're caught up in the excitement of the world, and it does not give them happiness. The world is out there, and it's not friendly to people who believe in Jesus Christ. Satan's alive and well. And that's why I'm not his buddy. I don't pay attention to him. I say, go to hell. You can say that to him, but I don't say that to your husband or wife. Get a divorce. See Father John. So I also urge you, many years ago, I started getting involved with the Christophers. The Christopher movement, which many don't even know about, I don't know why they don't. I've heard of it since about 1940s. Every month they put out a little leaflet newsletter. And in that they have inspiring stories. Every year I get a book that they publish brand new every year. It's called 3 Minutes a Day. And if you got that book, I sold them in the parish for a few years when I came here. 3 minutes a day, a true story of what somebody did to help somebody else. Is the Bible quote ended? And wonderful true stories from the newspaper, from TV. And you read these, I read from my homilies. Fathers, don't forget the homilies. Great homily stories, 3 minutes a day. They're great. They make the rubber hit the road. They make scripture and life real. It's terrific. There's another book that I came across recently, Miracle Mornings After 50. I decided it was in that category. I'm in the bonus years now, the bonus years. But anyway, this book is very much like the Pies program, a way of living. Very, very good. You get it at Barnes & Noble, Miracle Mornings After 50. A proven path to joy, vitality, and purpose for aging adults. So friends, that's about it. I'm going to bore you. And just remember this. Life's what it is. You can't change life out there again. But change your life with a plan. Old people come and they say, oh, Father, I'm too old to do this. Are you kidding? I read of people in their hundreds, 90s, still doing some volunteer work. Stop giving up and saying, and watch TV all day long or play pool or whatever you're going to do. I mean, that's fine, but we got a job to do. You hear people here are the cream of the crop. I'm speaking to the choir. You know this already, but do it. Make a difference. Be a person of I'm going to make a dent in this world. And Jesus has your hands, feet, and voice. He's not here anymore as he was in Galilee. But he's here in you and in me. That motivates me. That's why I love what I do still. And so I conclude with my final little quotation, which I give often, from the music Les Miserables. How many have not seen Les Miserables? Raise your hands. The movie or the play. Les Miserables. If you've not seen it, raise your hands. It's on DVD. It's a marvelous movie and a wonderful play. I've seen it a number of times. The end of the play, Jean Valjean is dying. And there's a song that's sung there, to love another person is to see the face of God. A Broadway play, to love another person is to see the face of God. And when you fall in love with Jesus, nothing's impossible. And you will smile. You won't be grumpy and negative and giving up. You have to put out to get. So tonight, if maybe I said something that helped you, thank God. He's the one. Don't just praise me. I go to the Lord and say, Lord, I don't need praise. Father Daniel Lord was a wonderful Jesuit. He wrote plays, and one time in one of his books, he wrote, when I was a young Jesuit, I put on this play, and people came up and said, oh, Daniel, it was so wonderful to play and everything. He said, I said, Jesus, I give you all the thanks because you never got thanks on the cross when you died. I give you the thanks they gave to me because it's your work through me. That's it, friends. Thanks for coming. I hope maybe that something I said strikes a chord. And you know, maybe the final thing is my grandfather. If he'd never called me down to his office that day, an old man who was tired and working, if he never gave me that question, I would not be here today. Nobody else had ever done that. So don't forget young people that you're connected with and others. Give them a little attention. Maybe give them a little thought. You see in them qualities to make wonderful priests. God knows we sure need priests today. We have 3 being ordained in the Archdiocese of Los Angeles this year. 3. Those that have died, the culture doesn't foster vocations. But we need them badly. And they have to be spirit-filled priests. Understanding the world we're living in, not living in a pedestal, down with the people. As Pope Francis would say, I like the smell of the sheep. Be happy with the people, understand what they're doing. So thanks for coming. Hope you had a good meal. Go home now and hamburgers tomorrow, okay?